Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted. I normally say delighted to be joined with someone, as I normally have somebody on, but no, I am doing the Callum Simpson, Zak Chelli, the Callum Simpson full card predictions. Yeah, it's a good little card. I wouldn't say it's the best card, but you've got some decent names on the undercard. I wouldn't say it's the best of cards that Boxer have done, but they have had some good shows quite as of recent, like the Riakporhe Billum Smith show was, in my opinion, quite a good card. Yeah, they've had some good cards. I think this is a bit of a, I wouldn't say it's a bad, it's a decent, it's an all right card. But yeah, I think maybe as Callum, as it's at the Oakwell Stadium in Barnsley, of course, Barnsley's football stadium, who Callum Simpson supports, so he gets it in his own backyard. But we'll get on to Callum Simpson v Zak Chelli in a few moments' time. So I'll run you through the card. I'm not sure if this is in. Hang on, I think there's a women's fight on the prelims. Let me get box rack up because it doesn't say it on. It doesn't say it on here because it only got added to the card yesterday. So, Tapology haven't put it on because it's a new edition, like a late addition to the card. Yeah, so I'll probably butcher the names. Probably, you know what I mean. I'm not good with the pronunciation, but you've got Swala Douglas, who's 3 wins, 1 defeat with 2 draws. V Sarah Ozgin from Hungary, who's 1-1, so 1 win, 1 defeat. And this is 4 rounds in the super flyweight. In the super flyweight division. Of course, Swaiwala. she's her last fight was a draw. But that was via a cut. That was in Oldham. The bout was halted on a doctor's advice after a head clash left Ivona with a swelling side to the head. Yeah, so obviously didn't go as planned last time out for Swaiwala. Of course, she would have. Yeah, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth when you train that for a long period of time and the fight gets stopped in the very first round, via a head clash. That doesn't help either one of the fighters. Of course, she took that defeat on her debut. Not many. There's a few fighters, that take defeats on their debut and go quite far. So, there's no shame in. Well, there's no shame in losing a fight at all. But you know what I mean. And then she bounced back with a good win, and then she fought the same person, drew, and then won. Yeah, so she's doing all right. Sarah, of course, she was unbeaten. She made her debut last year. She won on split decision against Kate Papa in Budapest. Of course, last time out, she fought July 17th. So quite recent. She fought a very good fighter in Laura Payne, who I believe Laura is, 1 or 2 fights away from a Commonwealth, a title shot for Laura Payne. So there's no shame in that. Of course, It was meant to be on June 29th, but that show got pulled. And yeah, they got rescheduled for a show in Leeds, and Sarah lost that one to points. She did She did touch down in the fifth, but no shame in that, as Laura is quite aggressive. She's a what's the word? High volume puncher. I think, Sarah was in there right to the end. I don't think, I thought she'd done all right, and that's why she's got a good chance against Swaiwala, it's definitely a winnable fight for her, Swaiwala, but you would expect it's 4 rounds. I can expect a Swaiwala points win 39-37. Of course, it's a late sort of car replacement, so yeah, but I would expect Swaiwala to get the job done via a 39-37 points win for Swaiwala in that one. Yeah. So up next, you've got Joel Kadua, who's boxer's new signing, I believe, because he was with Frank Warren. Is Joel? I don't know what happened with that. Maybe because I think Yard fell out with Frank Warren, and of course Kadua is, I believe, managed by Anthony Yard, so he sort of went away as Yard did. So yeah, it'll be. Of course, he's 6-0. Is Joel Kadua. Of course, he hasn't got a knockout win as of yet. But he had Joe Hardy on his debut, who I believe was 2-3 at the time. He won that on points. He's been, and then he fought Del Arrowsmith, and we'll get on to Del in a minute. Berman Sanchez, Paloches, Barrosa, and of course George Sutcliffe, who was a little bit of a step up in his last contest. That was on a TM14 show back in April. And yeah, George Sutcliffe's a bit of a half and half record. He comes for a scrap, and to be honest, he had George hurt at times in that fight, and arguably he nearly got him out of there. He nearly did. I think he hurt him in was the third round where he got him going. But yeah, I thought that was a strong performance from Kadua, and he looks really good in that fight. In my opinion, he looked quite strong. But his opponent, John Henry Mosquera, I've seen him fight a few times. He's had those 25s with 5 wins, the 15 defeats. Yeah, his resume might not look... No, but he's got some good names. See, look. You've got that Antos drew on a boxer show back in when they went to Wolves, where Adam Azim won the European title. That and Antos drew to Tion Gibbs. That is a big win for Mosquera, in my opinion. And of course, he took Cameron Vong the distance as well, and Cameron Vong has been blasting people out of there. Bradley Townsend, of course. Matthew Rennie, Louis Maldoni. There's just some up and coming decent prospects. Amal Kiani, Khalid Ali, who's a big prospect for Queensbury. And he last time got stopped by Dan Francis and he pulled out. But Dan Francis is a strong fighter, and he's vicious puncher, and he throws punches and bunches to Francis. And then Cooper, he's not a stranger to the big nights. Is is John Henry Mosquera. He is tough, but I think, Kadua is improving each and every fight, in my opinion. I just think he's getting better. He's looking stronger as he fights. And I think Henry Mosquera, he is awkward at times, and he'll try and make it as awkward as possible for Kadua. But I think, Kadua should be all right with him. He'll be able to put his foot on the gas when he needs to. He can also box quite well. I think he'll win this fight. He was close to a stoppage last time out. Will he stop Mosquera? As you've seen a minute ago, I showed you Mosquera's resume, and he is tough. But Kadua, I'm sure in the next couple of fights, he'll be wanting to get somebody out of there. But I would say Joel Kadua, it's a 6-round fight. I can see another, probably a wide decision win for Joel Kadua. And I'm going to say 60-54. It's going to be quite wide in that fight. This is an interesting one, in my opinion. Hang on, did I confirm that? Yeah, I did. You've got Billy Dennis, the Turkish Tyson, as they call him, the Khalid Grandai. Of course, it's 6 rounds in the cruiserweight division. Billy Dennis, 11-0 with the 5 KOs. I'd say, he's beaten Danny Whitaker, and his 2 biggest wins are Danny Whitaker and Perry Howe. He's got a few stoppages against some durable lads. He does train out of the Joe Gallagher's gym, so he's got a good coach, and Joe Gallagher is he's got good people around him, so it's good to see him get on the boxer card and show boxer and sort of people who will be watching around the world what he's sort of made of. And if you put in a good performance, you're likely to stay on more cards. So he's going to really want to impress in this one against Khalid Grandi, who's 11, 14, and 5, only been stopped the 3 times. Of course, no shame in getting stopped by Ben Whitaker, who's, one of the, one of the best prospects around at the moment. And he's also got stopped by Zach Parker, but, Zach Parker's a good fighter as well. But he took Carol Tuma, Ezra Taylor, and Dan Aziz the distance. So he is tough, and he won't go down easily. He'll be there all night until Billy puts, I've muddled my words up there. And what I mean is he's got a nice guard. He's got a nice high guard. He tucks his elbows in. He can take a bit of punishment, but I can imagine. I can't see Billy stopping him. I can see Billy looking good. I think Billy needs to relax on his shots. I think this is a fight where you can try and put your shots together. Don't rush into it. He needs to stay patient and get behind his jab early, because you don't need to try and, blow him out because and try and make a statement, even though, he'll want to make a statement and try and show boxer, but sometimes a nice skilled performance works, and you don't really need to be getting Khalid out of there, because he is tough and he's took Aziz the distance. Of course, he would love a stoppage, but I can see Khalid getting through the fight, and I can see Billy putting on a good performance, a decision performance. Then you've got Mario Silva Vidal Aerosmith, that's 6 rounds. Of course, Mario Silva. Mario Silva is currently... Look, here's the tail of the tape, actually. Should have done that in the last few fights. Tail of the tape, here we are. It says he's 4-0, but I've got BoxRec up here just as well. So that's wrong on Tapology. Mario Silva 5-0 with 2 KOs. He stopped Jake Bray and Craig Sumner. So, yeah. And it's another chance for him to try and impress. Of course, Dow Aerosmith, 6, 1 and 10 and 5. You know, he's a centurion, is Aerosmith, and he recently achieved that, and he did get his last win on his 100th fight is Dow Aerosmith, and as is the hardcore boxing fans know, that the journeymen are actually the backbone of the sport. So, and he's been in there with some good names as well. Is Aerosmith, Danny Ball, Joe Garside, Tom Rafferty, Obi Ebenike, Levi Frankham, Bradley Skeet, Michael Hennessy Jr., Jonathan Kamoto. Who else should I name? George Davey, Fraser Wilkinson, Reese Woods, Casey Brown, you know, Tom Brennan. He's been in there with some good fighters. And he drew to Gabriel Marsh a few weeks ago as well. So he is as tough as they come. He's only been stopped 7 times, so he'll be durable. And I can see another a comfortable points win for Silva in this one. Now we've got our main 4 fights. I'm saying Conor Coyle, you know, he's got a high ranking in, I think it's the WBA. I saw earlier he's in the top 5, I believe. I can, you know, Carl Lamotti will be tough, and he'll try. Carl Lamotti will try and put it on him and try rough him up and try make it try use his strength to his advantage. But Conor Coyle, he lines his shots up nice. He jabs a lot. He throws lots of jabs. He's a good mover, is Conor Coyle. He's a very good boxer. He occasionally gets the stoppage, but when he does get the stoppage, it's his hand speed. He's quick on his feet. He's quick with his hands and light on his feet as well. He's gonna be, I think this is a bit of a wild card sort of fight, I would say. I think people might be sleeping on this fight, because I think this is going to be a real good fight. But I can see another points win for Conor Coyle. As you know, he was meant to fight Cash, and he's in a good position in the WBO, and I can see him keeping it going. Right, next up we've got 10 rounds in the women's lightweight division. We've got Caroline Dubois, Sweet Caroline, 9-0 v Mario Mono, 14-1. I don't know too much about Mono, but I know Dubois trying to, you know, she's world champion, and I can see Dubois extending that, and I can see a unanimous decision win for Dubois. So far, I've predicted all fights going the distance as of now. But here comes the one I'm predicting a stoppage on. Because you've got Joe Laws. You've got Stephen McKenna v Joe Laws. I believe this is for WBC International Silver Super Welterweight title. I do like a silver belt, actually, so it's interesting. Joe Laws, of course, Joe Laws is, what's the word to describe Joe Laws? He's awkward. He's an awkward fighter. He sells fights as well. Is Joe Laws? That's why he gets these opportunities. He sells himself and he sells the fight well. Of course, he was signed with Matchroom, and then he did suffer that defeat where he lost to Ryland Charlton. But and Matchroom got rid of him, so he's had a hard road back. Picking up some wins on small hall shows. He suffered that defeat as well on a small hall show, which was close. Bounced back with a Zeldin win. He fought last year, which I think it could have been the end of the road if he didn't beat Michael Hennessy Jr. Of course, that was on late notice as well. I put my hands up. I wouldn't say it was the best of fights to watch, but fair play for Laws to getting it done. He was awkward. Sometimes he grabs he grabs sometimes, and that's what I wouldn't say it was a hug fest, but I would say Laws needed to done what he needed to do. But I think McKenna is just a different sort of fighter. I think, McKenna, he's all action with 13 knockouts out of his 14 wins. I can see, Laws could be sort of slippery for a few rounds for McKenna, but when McKenna finds him, and he'll keep walking Joe Laws down until the end, is McKenna. He won't stop. I think Joe Laws will have a tough time in this fight, and I can see McKenna forcing a stoppage. I don't think Joe Laws will be able to keep him off him and stay in the fight. I think McKenna will be too strong for him and get him a stoppage win. It's a 10-round fight. I can sort of see a stoppage round. I'll say round 4 or 5, but I'll go round 5. Next up, you've got your main event of the evening, the big one. Of course, it's at the Oakwell Stadium, that which Barnsley football team play at. And of course, that's Callum Simpson's hometown, and it's his football team as well. So he'll have the crowd behind him. But, Zak Chelli, he's going into the Lions' Den as the British and Commonwealth champion. Of course, last time out, I believe he beat Jack Cullen. And Simpson won against Mbebe on the Clark Wardley card. And of course, Zak Chelli, he's done it the hard way. I like it when fighters go through the traditional route, when you go through the southern area, the English, the British, and he's got the Commonwealth as well. I would say he's got the better. He's been in there with the better caliber at the minute. Cody Davis, Jack Cullen twice, Mike McGoldrick, Jack Kilgannon, Jermaine Brown, where he won. I believe he beat Jermaine for the English. He beat Anthony Sims Jr., which was an American who came over, and people were saying he would lose that. I think he's defined the odds quite a few times, is Chelli. Jeffers, he lost, but it was a close fight, and he bounced back with a win over Granham, and he got a good, and he got his, not revenge, but sort of, you know what I mean, he got the win back over Cullen, which was a draw. Simpson, he's looked, what's the word? His first few fights where he started out, he was blasting them all out. He was blasting them all out in his early fights. He got won the Central Area title, and then he beat that Neves guy. But I think his last, when he fought Crichton and Jose D. Massaz, he sat down on his punches, and he's being able to box as well. I think Chelli done well against Cullen. He just thought he beat him down really for 12 rounds. And I think this is a bit of a pick'em sort of fight. I've been debating. I've seen lots of people have split opinions. You see on here, 8% saying Simpson by KO, 90% saying by decision, Chelli 23%, and 77% by decision. I think it is a pick 'em fight, and it wouldn't surprise me if it goes either way. They both have heavy hands, but I think it could be a bit of a chess match in this one. And I think there will be times where they do stand and brawl, but I think overall it'll be a little bit of a chess match. And I think with the home crowd behind him, I think Simpson will get over the line with a decision. It wouldn't surprise if there's a stoppage from either man, because they both have the knockouts there. But I can just see Simpson getting over the line with a split decision win over Zak Chelli. And yeah, those are my predictions for the Zak Chelli v Callum Simpson card. That's for the British and Commonwealth titles, and it's this Saturday live on Sky Sports. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and goodbye for now.